Well, what happens when your greatest qualities could also become your biggest liabilities? Welcome to Squid Strengths, the show where we look at this high-stakes game called Squid Game, and we go deep and look at it from the lens of how we naturally tick. I'm Coach Bryant Raymond, also player 164 on season 2 of Squid Game: The Challenge, and I am here today with the man at the center of that monitor moment. We're going to call it the monitor moment, man.
Monitor moment. I love it.
Isaiah Brooks, welcome to Squid Strengths.
Hey, what's up, y'all? What up, man? Appreciate you, Bryant. Awesome.
Appreciate you. Thanks for coming on. And just like all the rest of the guests, Isaiah took his Gallup Strengths Assessment, and his top 5 strengths are strategic, futuristic, connectedness, ideation, and maximizer. You like that maximizer, right?
Yeah, maximizer was my favorite. That's just volume. I appreciate volume.
So we're going to go and talk about how these strengths built his game and how he played up to that moment, right? But before we get to that moment, I just want to talk about who we're with right now. We've got amazing stuff going on. Now, you're in security, but you're also a producer. I'm sure you have played many different roles and do many different things. So who is Isaiah Brooks?
Isaiah Brooks is a loving guy from Indianapolis, Indiana, just real heartfelt, real down to earth. He's a family-oriented guy. He competes. I do security. I make music. I produce, engineer, this, that, and the third. So he's all those things in a bag of chips. That's Isaiah Brooks.
You're more than a bag of chips. You're at least a stack of pancakes.
A stack of pancakes or a tin of oatmeal, a tin of porridge.
You know, I love your confessionals, by the way. And anytime you get confessionals, that means that your story matters. So I liked what you said about you can smell lies and you can tell if someone's fake. And then you can also like see through them.
I'm too real for fake, man. So when you see these eyes, you see real. So if you're fake, you won't see these eyes. They'll see you. You know what I'm saying?
So do you feel like this perceptiveness was a superpower? Could it also be a curse? Could it be a little bit of both?
Man, so growing up, my stepfather, he was always very perceptive. And I saw a lot of friend groups come and go throughout the years because we bounced around a little bit. So seeing my stepfather's approach to perceiving energy, catching vibes, he almost called it foresight, if you will. It really kind of resonated with me growing up. And I just kind of carried that with me into my relationships. I'm real good at peeping the energy, just clocking the vibe. And I felt the vibe was definitely felt that morning. So I saw that and I felt that. So what you see is real for sure.
It might have contributed to that moment, and what you shared, we'll get to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, so you spoke about having a too real of a personality, and hey, I love people who are real. That sounds a lot like your connectedness in action, that belief that everything's connected, right? You actually mentioned vibes. You're vibing with someone, well, that kind of implies you have this connection. But you also said that one of the main themes of your experience in Squid Games is the mind games, the alliances, and sometimes even that fake crying. So how did that connectedness handle this world that was, at the end of the day, kind of fake? Real, but fake.
Real but fake, you know, and the real emerges through that fake. So for me, on one side, it's all entertainment, right? You can't look at it and take it personal too much, at least not the fake crying and the playing the little games like that. Bro's lying about his kid, things like that. But I don't know, for me, my realness, I'm just able to sit back and like watch from start to finish. When the cameras aren't rolling, we see the aftermath of the fake tears, you know, of that fake energy. And, you know, we kind of clocked that in the dorm, and at least I did. So I just kind of would make note of that. I'm like, okay, this player kind of acts a little bit more than the others. Like, I'll just have to watch that. But kudos to the actors, because they went crazy with the fake tears.
So did that impact your game in any way in terms of like your perception and how, well, once you kind of clock them, how did you navigate through that? Or is it just more like a mental note and just going to keep it there until it's necessary?
Oh, a little bit more than mental. So me and my particular alliances, we would take note of this energy, you know, and they're off doing their thing too, clocking their people, clocking their own energy. So we would kind of bring this back towards the end of the day. Definitely locked in with my alliance on spotting out the people who would fake cry, then they'd kind of grift over to other groups and kind of try to rally them in. There was a lot of that. And it would even come to our group. So yeah, definitely a little bit more than mental. Definitely became a strategy after a while.
All right. Well, you're number one strategic, so I'm not surprised that this is something that's probably going through your mind.
Whoa.
What?
That's a fat ass cake.
I want to share it. Just expand the kindness, expand the alliance aspect.
You mentioned you want to talk about the earlier games, and I think that's important too. And you were featured on some of those earlier games as well. Specifically, you mentioned mind over matter. So there's that aspect of the catch game. So it sounds like Maximizer wanting to make sure that that one chance, right? You have one chance to catch and one chance to throw is the exact way you expect it to be. Also, like what Mingle was like for somebody with high strategic and high ideation, there must have been a lot going on.
There was a lot going on, man.
Tell us more about those games, Catch and Mingle.
So starting with Catch, like initially my thought is it's just a tennis ball, y'all. Like all we got to do is catch the ball and get it there. Those two things I feel were super simple. You don't need to be athletic to catch the ball. You don't even need to be athletic to throw it. Just get it there and do the rest. But the real hard part is it's in front of everybody. So mind over matter really is just overcoming that pressure. It almost felt like a real baseball game at times, you know? So, but former athletic background, kind of used to that. I played like baseball in high school, basketball, stuff like that. So I'm used to everyone watching. You got to make that catch, you know, that's a lot of pressure. And then going on with Mingle, I feel like just trusting the teammates is the mind over matter. It's such a temptation to only worry about you, but like isolating yourself within that game is how you end up outside one of them doors or in a room you don't belong in. There were things like that. So really mind over matter, stay the course, stay the strategy like the whole time, which you saw with our group a little bit.
I mean, you were guy counting numbers, right?
Yeah,
Like
I was the
people-
doorman. Doorman.
6, 7, 8,
We're out.
9, 10, 11. Sorry about you. Sorry about you.
Oh no.
It sounds like a guy whose job is to make sure everything's secure. I mean, it must be
Little
second
bit,
nature,
little
right?
bit. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely played a part.
Anything else about Mingle? I mean, that's the game I really wanted to play.
It was the coolest game ever. And I know like it got dramatic at the end, but not everyone really felt that way, man. It looks like everybody doesn't want to play, but my particular group, me included, we was rocking, man. At a certain point, we got used to it. And the door thing was like half my idea, half the group. Like we needed one person to at least get our head count in and then seal the deal, you know? So the security came up, like the security background instincts.
I'll do it.
I'd give it a go.
I want it too, though. Everyone that wants it, go over there.
This is the moment
love
that
that.
began to change your game, right? The moment where the front man gave the guards these 3 yellow patches, and then they just say, okay, players, select 3 people to be monitors, whatever the hell that means. So how was that for you, first of all?
So for me, I'm thinking of the hall monitor thing in 2 ways. Again, the strategy came out, right? So for me, I'm like, this puts me in a position where I may or may not be able to have aspect of control within this point of the game. So no matter what, control comes with risk, but I'll take the risk to get that control at this stage because, you know, it's like 20 people. And then on the other side of it, as an entertainer and being in the space, I'm like, I want screen time. So I need to put myself forward, be willing to take that risk. So I'm like, this is a 2-edged sword and I have to take it. So I offered myself up and then they voted. The vote was key. I think the vote didn't get shown as much.
The way they showed it was essentially a consensus, but it sounded like there was actually more like counting.
Yeah, 98 really wanted to be the monitor. Shout out to Matt. He a cool dude, but he was like interrupting the moment. And everyone was set though on like, all right, no, we're going to pick them. And then it became even more evident. They're like, no, we're officially voting for them. Like bring the guards out. Like, let's get it going, you know?
Did it feel like a reward for your leadership? Did it feel like you were immediately on the chopping block, knowing, as you just said, like, you know, you got to have to take a risk. You are the last 5% of people.
So my psyche in that moment, man, like, at least for me, I'm still under the assumption that we're all playing fair and that we're all trying to like keep this as even as possible. So in my mind, being the hall monitor, I'll be a target potentially, but I'm still thinking we're all like playing fair still at this point, if you will. So I kind of approached it like nobody's going to do nothing crazy. Nothing's going to pop up. We'll probably play a game and then we'll win in that and get through this. But nothing's going to pop off from this.
I don't know what all it entails being a monitor, but I am a risk taker. So I put myself forward because I feel that it will give me a competitive edge. And we are at the point where any and all edges must be taken into account.
Well, let's first start with you putting on that monitor patch. Before, it's clear that there is some perks. It's like platinum status or like higher, you got this special status, right? So first of all, that bedding. Was that bedding actually much nicer? That wasn't just pink, right? Like it was actually like...
Oh man, my satin sheets.
It was satin, okay.
Yeah, my
like
satin sheets, that was real. Oh, 100 Egyptian cotton, my friend.
Let's see this bed.
Fancy schmancy.
Fancy schmancy.
My satin sheets.
Oh man, because I do recall, I did have a chance to touch the sheets. I didn't get to sleep on one, but I'm like, that's tough. Like those regular sheets, they're whatever your most uncomfortable t-shirt is. Worse than that.
Single ply sheets.
Man. And then we saw you got pancakes for breakfast. Were there any other benefits that were not shown on screen?
So I can definitely tell you this. So there was a lunch that was also served that day. Essentially, the monitors got brought out lunches, the same people. And that lunch was, for me, a Big Mac, fries, and a chocolate shake, man. Kind of half melted. And I don't know why it didn't make the air. You know, you can't fit everything. It's a lot of footage, so I get it.
They want to have a McDonald's ad right in the middle of it.
That could be it. But that lunch happened, and we were able to share it with people, and each had to pick one person to share it with. That was a cool moment. But it didn't make the air, the lunch. And that was my first Big Mac. I've never had one, so I'll always remember that.
They really made the social aspect of the game much more intertwined this season. I found this season riveting, and you're one of those folks who have a riveting storyline. And thankfully, you get a storyline. You get a clear storyline. So let's talk about that. So now we got all the perks. You go through that. And then, of course, and I think you expected it, right? This is a test. And likely, okay, you're kind of also observing how do these other people handle you having this power, just whatever the power is.
Sure.
So now we're at the test where you're told to select 3 people. So first of all, 98 obviously made a little brouhaha, so that sounds like one reason to choose him. Were there other reasons to choose the other 2 folks, or did you have any idea why you chose those particular 3?
Part of this game is being social, and he didn't want to play that part of the game.
Exactly.
Karim, to me, didn't really have a core group. He maybe was liked among like a few people. At least that's my perception. I didn't really get to know him, but he seemed kind of like to himself. And then I felt Greg was also in the same way, but we all kind of agreed on that. This wasn't all just me like, hey, this person's alone. This person's alone. We all kind of saw that and brought it forward. Yeah. I think 98 was definitely my idea, though. I think I was like, 98's going to argue with them, so we should throw him in there. But yeah, we just kind of picked the loners, if you will.
Interesting. I interviewed August, and he mentioned he chose Karim to be the person that they didn't even know was catch, right? Like there was just like the 3 people that were left out had to choose somebody. And what he told me is that his perception is that Karim was somebody who he just felt like was highly strategic and was going to go after August. It's interesting how like y'all had these perceptions and likely it impacted key decisions. These are both key decisions that impact both of your games. And what he said is after he selected him, and obviously Karim made it through catch, they actually got to know each other. Like it's actually built more trust and rapport. So it's just so interesting how that works. So now you're in the room, right, with the black box, and each of these 2 rooms, the monitors versus the loners.
Monitors versus fake monitors.
Hurry up. I'm done. What?
Eliminated.
You have that black box, and eventually Max self-sacrifices. In the show, they show it was like neck and neck. So when you were in that, where you played rock, paper, scissors, and that was it. Was it intense? Was it chaotic? Was it like a clear decision on how you should kind of take this?
So from the speed of everything, like on our end, so we're in the room, and once that judgment call is given, we understand the rules. It honestly moved really quick. I want to say it took barely a minute for us to figure out that we can't three-way rock, paper, scissors. And Kate kind of took a step back. And so when she took that step back, I took that as she's like mentally checking out of this moment. You know, no offense against her, but she's like, I'm not going home. I'm not going home. So my instinct kicked in. I'm like, all right, you and me. But that process took no longer than a minute. And once I got him, he put his thing in there. There was a moment of like a pause. And he's like, do you think we did it quick enough? Then boom, his thing goes off. And it was just like, it didn't take very long. But that moment was so dramatic. And I wish it would have got him asking me that question, because that was so dramatic. Like, we're like making eye contact and like, boom, it just goes off and he falls down. Felt like a movie for real.
Oh man. All I know is basically half the cast dying. So that was dramatic in its own right.
Sure. And that was a heavy death. Unfair, in my opinion.
I mean, that's
unfair.
That was, that was their big twist. But I guess life somehow goes on. So, okay.
It does.
Now Max is gone, RIP Max. Okay. So now you're safe, and you and Kate now have the wonderful duty of choosing a new monitor, as well as giving this monitor the 10 token coin, which gives them the power to eliminate someone at the vending machine inside the boiler room, right?
Yeah. This is a good thing. It won't be us. Not trying to be insensitive, but it's just a fact.
So let's now dive into the monitor moment.
Absolutely. The monitor moment, the big monitor moment.
Monitor moment. Okay. So the decision to choose 409, you told me that the sole moment that you'll be thinking about years to come is not electing 402 Kevin as the new hall monitor.
Yes.
So as a coach, it's fascinating kind of looking at this, because you have strategic, futuristic, maximizer. So in your head, you're probably running through all these patterns, looking at every like permutation of what, and you have what, like 18 options, right? But you also have connectedness. So that connectedness, especially with somebody who you might have a common interest or might have had a stronger bond, maybe that wasn't shown on TV. I want to learn more about your relationship with Kevin, who you wish you picked, and Claire, who you did pick.
Absolutely. So let's get into it. So let's start with my relationship with Kevin. So Kevin, player 402, he was a really solid guy in there, kind of a big brother figure to me in there. You hear me talk highly of Daryl, player 342. These are guys that played in a style that was honorable, in my opinion. So I'm looking to him. I'm looking to guys like Steven, player 183. These guys are trying to keep it fair. Like I had mentioned, I'm under the assumption we're all playing fair. So Kevin and I had some conversations. He was a real cool dude, firefighter from New York, honorable profession, brave guy. I thought he was funny. He was a real good dude. But as we get towards the end, personally for me, I feel like if he's a part of our group, we will become targets of either animosity or jealousy, just because they don't like to see certain types of traits of competence. Like contained competence would be better here. So that was my thought process with him. Yet he and I had a real good friendship. So I do regret not picking him, though. But then with Claire, 409, so she and I initially, and it's not shown on camera, but we had talked a few times and bonded over basketball. She had a basketball injury that my brother had actually had, like a torn MCL or something like that. Oh. And we kind of connected talking over hoops, talking over the injury, recovery, things like that, because I played basketball. So that's right up my lane. She seemed real to herself. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, athlete to herself, not in the drama, fair, like clean, like that's easy. So this was my thought process going into this decision. But man, I wish I would have went the other way.
We choose you, okay?
All right, I trust you.
I trust you.
Well, before we go into the decision, let's kind of go into the alternate reality of going the other way. We're going to make the assumption that Kevin chooses somebody else to eliminate. So where would you go from there? Like, let's just assume you're playing the slides and ladders game, right? Slides and ladders was next, right? Who would you have teamed up with on that one?
Oh man, who would I have teamed up with?
Yeah.
Had I gotten that chance to choose, I probably would have chose Faith 361. I probably would have chose her. We had some real cool moments like leading into that big hall monitor moment for me. And that was when I really got to know her. got to trust her and really just get to know this beautiful person. Shout out to her. I would have definitely chose her like right out the gate.
I feel like a contender in this. I really do.
You are.
Like, let's get it, you know?
You have been killing the game.
Thank you.
And being a good person.
I mean, there's a reason why she has a whole episode named after her. So
No, isn't that amazing for her? Like, wow, I saw that. I'm like, you
amazing.
go, girl. Let's go.
That's awesome.
Good night.
Sleep well, okay, friend? All right, girl.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Who knows what would have happened, but man, I'm sure, you know, because it's like at that point, you're like so close. You're so close, right?
I know, man.
Okay.
Crazy.
Well, unfortunately, I wish we could turn back time, but you know, like if you could turn back time, that's a song, right? So, okay, you give Claire the patch publicly, and then privately, I think Kate was the one that slipped the coin.
So we wanted to give it to you privately because what we don't want is for everybody to know you've got it.
What was going on that led you to, let's just say, your little spiel?
Yeah. So what you're seeing, first off, that was one of probably 3 conversations that we had as hall monitors. Like we had these little meeting points, you know, we're just talking where everyone is, like, how's the energy? Like, how do we feel about elimination strategy? So we're talking about the same things over and over. We did this 3 times. What you're seeing is the 3rd conversation and also the 3rd opinion. They had given their opinions prior to me, and their opinions kind of aligned with what I was saying. You know, we were really specifying who our people were in there. Mackenzie 451 and Melissa 110, those were my people. And initially, I'd been wanting to spare them, and you know, I woke up to different vibes. So that conversation is the last of 3 opinions, and also the last of 3 conversations. What you're seeing, so. The chopping up of what I said was interesting versus what was said that I said. So those elements all kind of played against me, in my opinion.
So I'm not a backstabber, but I can't keep saving and saving. I can't do it anymore. I'm just saying, on my side, we're all homies, but we're all acquaintances in this. So that's where I'm at.
So the duration of that was like, I mean, we don't know the exact time, right? But it wasn't like 5 minutes. Sounds like this happened over a course of probably a couple hours.
Yeah, all day, man. Because you got to remember, too, we've also eaten the breakfast and the lunch that I'm talking about. The lunch wasn't specified, obviously. Maybe that's why it wasn't. I don't know. That doesn't really matter. But essentially, yeah, this was an all day thing. And we had multiple conversations, you know, and those same opinions had been shared over and over. So it's really unfortunate that you only get the back end of it, but that's why we're here, you know?
Well, that is why we're here. That's why we're here. So it sounds like that was the reason for it. You're kind of just echoing, maybe your maximizer just came out. You're very passionate in how, I mean, like from what the edit shows, it sounds like the way you said it was definitely passionate. Now, obviously the edit can always be the edit, but what you said is what you said. So
correct.
Now, it sounds like you weren't just talking to Claire, talking to both of them, but were you ever planning on allying with them afterwards? Given like why would you share that specifically with them too?
So the reason that I'm saying those words is I'm actually not talking to those women directly. I'm not directing hey, it's everyone for themselves. The perception is I am, because it doesn't show them speaking. It only shows them looking at me like, I'm like, hey, guys, I'm not rocking with it. Basically, I'm talking about other players. I'm clocking the energy that's being given to me by people who were my friends initially. So the 2 players I mentioned before, 451 and 110, those were my buddies, you know, but waking up that morning, it was a different vibe. So from that point on, I'm like, all right, so I can't spare anyone anymore. If it's every man for himself, like going forward, we got to do it this way. But yeah, I'm not talking to them. I'm talking about them. And that's not shown, which is crazy. So it's pivotal, I feel like.
But all of your Reddit threads, you know, kind of saying, you know, my man over
the lore
here,
is nuts. The lore is crazy.
He's got high strategic and probably had a great reason for that in context of the full conversation. But of course, you know, it's TV. Just like they didn't show that we were in that room for 10 hours. And I will always stick to we could have had an entire episode, but our O's are too lovable.
The O's were great, man. Shout out to the O's. Unfair.
We were so, I think it would have been very hard to edit out that all of these lovable characters are now dead. I'm not saying the X's weren't lovable. I'm just saying we definitely had some spice. We saw it, and we talked about this in my previous podcast episode. Like, you look across the room, it's like, it's just a different energy. Okay, just before we get to the very end of it, when you chose X, what did you see in the O's?
So what I saw in the O's was not as many of my friends over in the O's. So like the people I'd initially connected with, like my core group, we called ourselves the Avengers. We was mostly all in X. So that was like no hesitation. My boy Marcus was over there, player 076. So I'm like, I gotta go X, you know? And I'm a fan of the show. So I know O is the way to go in the show, but I'm like, this is the challenge. So we gotta change this.
You did.
Yeah.
Y'all got your shit together, basically. Y'all got your shit together.
Literally,
I actually talk about
quickly.
that. I talk about my part 2 of Fate of O. Hey, you want to listen to that? You know, like go back to that. And I talk about how it was very clear. Even the edit shows the difference in the twins. So go back to that episode. Now, we're going to go now to the snake stuff. You know, when you talk about rats and snakes, we evoke this amazing show called Survivor. Heard about it? Right?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
So you called Claire's move some snake stuff.
I did.
She might call it good strategy to somebody who's highly strategic. Number one, may at least can understand that. I mean, I'm sure you can understand that. Doesn't mean it makes it feel better. But as somebody who's a huge Survivor fan, this is definitely the closest thing to a Survivor blindside I've seen in Squid Game, the challenge. It's either an elimination that's kind of obvious, like somebody that didn't matter. And you're definitely on the other end. You mattered apparently too much. So
apparently,
in the Survivor world, you know, getting blindside is like that backhanded compliment. Obviously, it sucks, but it's kind of a great sign of respect that you were such a big threat that they had to take you out. Okay, so now you had some time to cool off, and you saw the episode. I want to see it from your perspective. You know, as somebody, especially with high connectedness, I would imagine that it was less about the game and more about that personal connect, especially somebody that you felt you connected with about not just basketball, but also injury, like the story mattered to you. Any thoughts on that, considering at least the reason shared was because you were such a big threat? Does that even honestly matter?
So I'm a Libra, so I see both sides of it, right? So as a threat, as someone who was prominent within the games, I completely understand the decision. Take this guy out. It's now or never. We don't know what we're playing next, but he keeps winning stuff. We got to stop this, you know? And that's not a pride thing. That's just a fact thing. So I definitely see that from the competitive side. However, for me, the other side of the coin is bonding over something like hoops, bonding over something like basketball for me, and like kind of that injury specifically. Like for me, I still feel we're playing fair, and I understand like we're not friends. I just met this person. We just got here. Like this is TV contest, boom. But for me, like bonding over those things we bonded over kind of trumps all that. But then also the conversation, you heard everything that I said. So knowing the full context of the conversation should have definitely alleviated this outcome, in my opinion. For me, that was someone is in her here who's already not rocking with me, and you kind of clock the energy surrounding me. And I'm not gonna like, you know, drop too many names or whatever, but you know, someone went in there with her.
Did they walk? That's where I was going.
I'm trying to be nice, but also be truthful.
I'll just say it directly. I have to ask. I'm just going to read it directly because you shared with me. We know who went with Claire to the boiler room.
It's on camera, fam. Like you went in there, man. Like we know. Why?
I have to choose someone.
Oh, you have to.
I have to.
So you were also good friends with Mackenzie, right? Like you mentioned that, like you were on good terms. So did that I mean, that must have added another layer to the sting. Like how was that conversation even after the show? Or if you had a conversation about it?
We have not really had a conversation about it. I think maybe like, before the show came out. Like there's been some like link ups and hangouts and things like that. And I'm always down for that. It's all love for me. Like I can set aside the stuff, but we've never really had a conversation since the episode came out because I wasn't sure what would get shown. I'm like, if it shows her going in there with them, then I'll know what's up, But I had an idea that Claire went in there with someone. And then the energy that morning, like these people didn't speak to me. It was like almost a complete 180 away from me. So to go from being my homegirl to 180, I'm like, okay, I guess it's every man for himself. And that kind of adds to the context of why I said what I said.
So basically the boiler room happened after your last discussion. Okay.
Yeah, it did. It did. There was almost a beeline to them. They're still not talking to me. They kind of go talk to them. Claire goes and talks to them. And throughout the day, I'm just noticing a distance. And then they're both gone. And I see my name pop up, man. It was crazy.
Oh my God. Player 410. Eliminated.
It was a snake move, player 409. You're a coward. You know I'm a threat, and that's why you eliminated me. So, well played.
It did hurt my feelings because that was like the homie, like, starting off. Yeah. Like, it's a game, we're playing, but connections were real in there, man. They really were. That's why you see a lot of people crying and stuff like that.
You're in this environment where you're isolated. These are the only people you can talk to. You don't see the sun. You don't know what time it is.
Yeah.
So that must be just wacky being there. That beyond accelerates, like, and you're in this unique, like this experience very few people will have. This exact experience, right? So I know even somebody who was just inside the dorm. I didn't get to sleep on the one single ply bed, but like
single ply.
I did say that. You know what? At least I don't have to sleep on this thing. I did like rub.
Terrible.
Okay.
They were terrible, man. 4-inch like, mattresses.
It did not. Well, I'm glad you got your satin sheets, at least for a night. Well,
absolutely.
It was fascinating for, as a coach, I see the conflict that arises in your strengths, because many times your top strengths are also the source of either blind spots or even overuse can turn them into things where you actually aren't as effective as you should be, right? So you have strategic and futuristic top 5. So in a way, like I would think you could have seen this 5 steps ahead. So how did you not see this coming? Or was it a case of your connectedness kind of getting in the way, the bonds you made and thinking, oh, I'm good with them. I'm good with Claire.
So for me, I thought I was good with Claire prior to that decision as it was happening. And then announcing it in front of everyone felt even more authentic. People were happy that she got it. Like I felt this was her time to shine. And that's how I looked at it. Not like I'm bestowing this on you, like, but we're all equal, but I pick it. Yeah, like I'm not holier than thou, contrary to
like names.
No, we're equal. We're equal, and you're gonna be fair. And this is a moment, and let's all share this moment. And it felt real, So those were the feelings leading up to it. So I didn't see it coming. However, I should have went with Kevin. My gut told me go with Kevin, but I was like, okay, I can't just do what I want to do. I need to do what's best for the entire group right now, including myself. Like, I need to pick a fair person who's not gonna be a target. Like, that was where I was at.
Did you discuss Kevin as an option? Or does it just run through your head?
We did. It's not shown, but me and Kate literally discuss it. And I don't remember exactly what was said. It's hard to remember the dialogue, but I remember landing on going from feeling that to it might not be wise to put someone in there who certain girls might want to get him out of here, like a guy's guy. So that was really the only stipulation. And yeah, I wish I would have went with my gut, man. I knew I should have picked Kevin.
And you think Kate would have gone along with it?
I don't remember if we came to an agreement that Kevin shouldn't be. I don't remember who said what, but there was a discussion between mainly her and I. We landed on the opposite. So yeah.
Well, this obviously shows that the edit's will be the edit. And we know that.
It's TV.
We know that the edits can be the edit. It's TV. We show that again. I think we could have had a whole episode on the count and show all of our relationships forming and then dying.
Right. At the least.
We
I always need their story, man.
So it sounds like, I mean, that really probably set the stage for the rest of the game, because that definitely at least brought you all together. I mean, you knew you're going to eliminate each other, but
Yeah.
it's very different than saying starting out with red light, green light, and that's a very obviously individual game. So they must have just added to the dynamic.
Absolutely. I feel like it kind of was designed to break us, at least break both groups. Like whoever won would have been broken to the point of like the large portion of the group is going to succumb to whoever figures out how to do it. And I feel like that is a psychological breaking point to like get people like on the same level. And maybe you find who your people are that are going to step up and like be willing to take on that pressure. So kind of a two-edged sword. This is just my opinion. They were trying to break whoever the victor was is the broken one. Like, you know.
Interesting take. Well,
yeah.
You know, as we bring it to a close, it's very clear you had a game plan. Your strengths are not a surprise. You know, somebody high strategic, you're thinking 5 steps ahead. And in a way, that connectedness got in the way. Like, you got a heart. Yeah, this guy that's a maximizer. Maybe there's someone like 98 probably is a high competition. You know, like some of these folks that can just probably just kind of shoo off but the man has a heart as much as he wants to be excellent, and he is excellent. And maybe that's just...
Thank you.
Maybe, again, your biggest strength can also be your biggest liability, just having a good heart, man.
100%. And I stand on my decisions. I stand on the things I said. Who you see on there is truly who I am, man. You know, no holier than thou. I'm just a guy who, once I get the cake, I'm willing to share it with people. That's who I am. So hopefully people get more of that than the latter half. So, but yeah, that's real. That's real.
I think I would have noticed you as someone to talk to, and I feel like we would have gelled. But again, who knows, right? You probably were with your gang on the X side. I was always literally in the other corner. So it's like that already sealed our fate. You know, like it's just like,
right.
Well, we don't know what else. Like, I can't pick a twin. So,
right.
Like,
you got the wrong twin.
You got the wrong. We definitely did get the wrong. You see that?
Got the wrong twin. We also had a John T. So John T. shut everyone up.
That's true. He definitely got his moment in there too. So yeah.
Definitely.
Well, as we come to a close, first of all, any final thoughts on this monitor moment or anything else that you'd like to share about your experience on Squid Game, the challenge?
Just 2 things. One, had you stayed in there, man, had you been in there, I gravitated towards light, and you are a light, my friend. So we would have definitely linked up in there. We would have definitely been allies. You would have got cake, man. We would have been chill. We would have been kicking it. I met a lot of people through that. So that's first. Second, no regrets. I loved it, man. Absolutely loved my time. I want to get on back. So vote for 410.
I'll put in a vote for you. How about that? I'll put it in a vote.
Love, man. That's love. I appreciate that.
As much as I'd love to put my name out there, and maybe I got a few pity votes, like, I get it. You didn't even see my number. But we saw this man, and we saw what he's capable of, and he got the Survivor blindside treatment. So, for better or worse.
Absolutely. Hey, for better or worse. And you can vote as many times as you want. So I'll vote for you a few times. How about that?
just to see, like he's on the board. Okay, at least 164 is on the board.
I got you, man. Hey, all love, Bryant. Appreciate you so much, man.
Yeah.
So cool, man.
Before we go, like I'd love to talk a bit about who Zeke is. I've talked about your music. I know that's your passion. And where can people find you and support your music and all of those other passions you have?
Man, so yeah, absolutely. I make music, y'all. I rap, I sing, I play the guitar, produce, all under the name Zeke. That's XEEK, exclamation mark. I'm the only one spelled like that. You can find my music anywhere you stream music. Get on Spotify. There's so much going on there. Just hit shuffle and go crazy, man. It's always a good time. And that's why I came on the show, was to promote that. So definitely rock with me on there, man. Absolutely.
All right, let's rock with Zeke.
All right, let's go. Hey, I love
Zeke.
that.
Let's
410.
go.
You already know.
Zeke, you know, I have a feeling there's going to be whether it's a lyric in the song or it's a song title, monitor moment.
There may be a monitor moment song.
And then you get to dish about it. That's your diss track. I don't know, man. Hey, you know.
Hey, No diss tracks. I don't want to get in trouble for bullying.
Fair,
No
fair,
diss.
fair.
But 410 is out. 410 is out.
Reflection. So,
Right.
and with that, that's our show. Thank you so much, Isaiah. Yes, player for 10. Go vote for him. Check out his music. Check out Zeke. The links are below. So, what'd you think? Was it a dumb move? Did he just get the wrong stick? You know, like raw end of the, I don't even know the saying. So let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to more Squid Strengths, because we're giving you the recap and we're going deeper to understand the psychology behind, well, this crazy freaking games.
Absolutely.
All right.
Love, man.
And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much, Isaiah.
God bless. Take care. Thank you.
Isaiah's game is a masterclass in the tension between strategic and connectedness. He assumed a shared history meant a shared future. He saw the board, but he missed the player. In your own career, are you relying so much on strategy that you're missing the human element? Or are you so connected to your work family that you don't see the business moves happening around you? To find out which strengths are driving your decisions and which might be your blind spots, take the Catalyst quiz. See the link in the bio or in the description. And get ready for the first of my 2-part episode with the only player who has an episode named after them, Player 361, Faith Dunn. We dive deep into her backstory and many of the moments you did not see up to the moment we all remember. That moment when Faith indeed learned the cost of faith in the circle of trust. You do not want to miss this. Subscribe to Squid Strengths on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube podcasts. I'm Coach Bryant Raymond, player 164, lead and grow strengths first.